This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United travelling to the Etihad to play the noisier than ever neighbours. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Joe Smith. You all right, bro?
Yeah, I'm just...
Were you checking?
Just soaking it all in, you know? Just looking at it for what it is.
The greatest midfielder on the planet.
Yeah.
Next to Kevin De Bruyne.
Love that. All that.
Yeah.
Little switcheroo.
Yeah. Get involved in the chat in the comments. And first of all, I want to just get this out there. Get your phone out, film yourself in landscape for 30 seconds and send us your score predictions to paddockmatchday@gmail.com and we'll use it as part of our pre-match build-up during the watch-along. Joe, talk to me, bro. Let's be honest, yeah? Are you fearing the worst? Because I'm going to fire a few stats at you.
Okay, go on then.
Yeah?
Pepper me with stats.
Pepper you with stats like one of your French girls, right? City are undefeated in 18 games in all competitions. Yeah, last time they lost was Sevilla on the 6th of December. They're undefeated at home this season, 9 wins and 4 draws.
4 draws is shite.
United have lost 4 out of the last 5 league games against City.
Won 1.
And we've lost in our last 2 visits to the Etihad, conceding 10 goals in the process.
Okay, scored 4 as well, which is pretty good in 2 games. So.
All right, let's look at the positives. Also as well, just one final stat. City have scored in 54 consecutive home games. If they score more than 1 against us, they break their current record.
Well, they haven't broke the record, have they? So they're shit and all. Not even record breakers. I mean, it is their own record, but even so, you know.
And as you know, records are bad.
Dirty. City are good. Oh no, sorry, there's something I didn't know before. City have got a whole host of stats that make out that they're one of the better teams in the UK or whatever. Yeah, they're up there.
UK. I'm glad you're throwing Wales and Scotland into this, just in case, and Northern Ireland, just in case.
Well,
there's
Celtic
a team
have won
there
as many European Cups as City have, so we can't not include them.
Okay.
And they've won as many trebles as well, so that's okay.
Right.
City are one of the better teams in the UK. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Well, that doesn't mean that we have to go there and be fearful. We're also one of the better teams in the UK. We've won more than they have. We've done it more times than they have.
Right. Okay.
You know,
I feel like whilst you're right in what you're saying, I feel that that's more historically based than the current team. If you can forgive me for saying that.
Well, I can't forgive you for saying that because I think you're a disgusting piece of work. So
you don't fear the worst then? You're full of bravado and maybe even alcohol and drugs, and you think nothing to wear, that's not a word, nothing to fear.
So when you say fear the worst,
than fear itself.
In terms of the worst, what we're talking about, sort of a kind of like a impact from an outer space or something like that, like a species-ending extraterrestrial impact. That's the worst case scenario, isn't it? As the game kicks off, a meteor lands on the pitch and the whole of humanity is wiped out. That's the worst.
No,
yeah?
that's a good scenario,
right?
Because we haven't lost. That happens.
So all right, then just at full time we've just lost.
And the world ends with us having won more titles than anyone else.
So an extinction level event.
A positive.
An extinction level event is the worst case scenario. I don't think that will happen. So
I think the worst case scenario
I don't fear the worst.
is us getting battered like we did at Anfield.
And not having the sweet relief of an extinction level scenario.
Yeah. Okay. I think like a 6 or 7-0 is the worst case
scenario.
In
which case, then yes, I do fear the worst.
Yeah. And I think that whilst it's not likely, and I think we have to be slightly rational here, United don't get battered that often by that margin of goals. It's a possibility that we could get annihilated.
They score a lot of goals against us, and they don't tend to struggle to score against us either. No. Last season at Old Trafford they did. This season at Old Trafford wasn't an absolute walk in the park for them, but they deserve to win.
Yeah.
And obviously at the Etihad in the last couple of years it's been diabolical. I do think we could potentially see a 3 or 4-0, maybe a 5, maybe a 6. Yeah. I don't know what to do. There's nothing we can do, is there?
That nicely brings me on to my next segue.
Go on.
Style of play, a Barcelona style of play, as Andy Tate once said. When he advocated for Pep Guardiola taking over at Manchester United, funnily enough.
Wouldn't have worked.
No, he's rubbish, Pep. Do we just need to do the old Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the Etihad trick, soak up pressure, hit him on the break, hope the likes of Garnacho and Rashford can use their pace to counter-attack and try and get goals that way? Is that our only hope?
Yeah, I've heard phrases like controlling games, high press, front foot football. I don't want to hear any of those on Sunday.
Right.
I want to hear timid, fearful, defensive, counter-attacking, embarrassing.
Yeah.
small club mentality.
Yep.
I want to hear these sorts of shit.
I want to hear the term parking the bus constantly.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I want to hear City fans moaning about it.
Yeah, I want it to be a fleet of parked buses.
Yeah. I want people to look back at this game as one of the best examples of how not to play football.
Yeah, I want this game. I want United's performance in this game to be considered a virus on football.
Yeah.
I want us to go down as the most disgusting, unnerving, unsettling, vile defensive performance that humanity has ever seen.
Yeah.
I want 11 men, not just in our own half, in our own 6-yard box.
A defensive unit across the goal line.
Straight across.
Yeah.
A phalanx around.
I want it to be that bad they genuinely consider abolishing the Premier League.
Yeah, I want the refs to come onto the pitch and just be talking amongst themselves for 3 or 4 hours during the game.
Yeah.
Just that we don't know what to do. We've never seen this before.
This is
whenever the ball is loose, United players form a circle around it. And then Onana just lays on the top to seal it off like an igloo. Okay? That's what I want.
Like the Roman tortoise back in the Roman
The Roman
days.
tortoise. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And we were talking before, do you know what I said during the watch-along, how, players are allowed headwear, like a scarf, not a scarf, a headband or a hat, a little cap if you've got an injury or whatever. They also wear the vests, don't they?
Yeah.
So I want us to push that. I want a vest that's got sort of a turtle, sort of Ninja Turtle back to it.
Yeah.
They're very robust, but that can sort of interlink and interweave with the other players.
Yeah.
So we can create a sort of armadillo structure around really wide shin pads.
Yeah.
So there's just no way of penetrating that fortress, that inner circle.
It's like a turtle over the ball.
Yeah.
In the
90 minutes.
90 minutes in the middle of the park.
I want it to be disgusting, unbearable. I want it to be described as the day football died.
The day football died.
That's what I want the headlines in every newspaper to be tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. The day football died.
I just think we the only chance we've got with the injuries, with the players, with how good they are, with how sort of inconsistent we are, if we try and push high, win the ball back, they will pass through us like nothing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
We need to rely on the pace of Garnacho and Rashford, rely on the deep passing ability of the likes of Casemiro, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, and try and counter-attack them. I don't see another option. I know we're obviously joking a little bit there, but I don't see another way we're going to get this game won, do you?
No, listen, I'd love to sit here and go, look, we could go toe-to-toe with them Muppets. They can't handle us. We'll just batter him, but I don't believe that for 1 minute. I think we can get a result, but I think the only way we get a result is by doing similar things to what you said, not with a turtle-shaped sort of protector of the ball that stops anyone from getting to it.
Boring.
But more of a soaking up pressure. It's going to be difficult because we don't defend very well, but hitting them on the break and maybe, sneaking a win that way. Okay. With all that being said then, let's get into our predicted 11s. Joseph, talk me through your predicted 11.
So I've gone with Onana in goal, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof and Amrabat as the back four. Again, I don't think Amrabat had a great game, but I thought he got better as the game went on. Maybe it's just he's lacking a bit of legs, not played much recently. Then I'm just sort of packing out the midfield here. Yeah. Mainu, Casemiro, Fernandes and McTominay. Yeah. We saw something similar at Old Trafford last season where I think it was Bruno, Eriksen, Casemiro and Fred played against him at home. I think this is sort of the closest we've got to that. And then I've got Rashford and Garnacho as a sort of outlet on either wing, kind of pushing and stretching the game. It's going to be difficult. I think set pieces and counter-attacks are the main way we're going to sort of create chances in this game. And I think that the team we've got there, Casemiro we know is good from set pieces. We saw that the other day. Scott McTominay is decent in the box as well. And Rashford and Garnacho stretching in behind is probably a decent chance of getting some level of success against him. And also, we have every game we play against them, it feels like we have chances.
Yeah.
I agree. Other than the 2-0 about 3 years ago, where they just came to Old Trafford and absolutely dominated us. Yeah. We tend to have chances. It's just stopping them is the hard thing, isn't it? That's why I've gone with such a heavy and dense midfield there.
No, I get it. And I kind of agree to a certain degree that we have to sort of pack that midfield. We have to try and get the extra bodies in there. Yeah. Like, if they're attacking us, we've got to get men behind the ball. And this is where players like, for example, Marcus Rashford, who's been getting pelters recently for his lack of work rate, he's got to step up here. He's got to be tracking back. He's got to be involved. Similar to Garnacho, yes, we want you to attack and all that, but when we haven't got the ball, you need to be pressing, you need to be defending as well. You cannot just be shirking your defensive responsibilities in a game like this, because we will get absolutely Blattered. Yeah, Blattered.
Set Blattered.
Yeah. My team is similar but different.
Okay.
I'll explain myself here.
Yeah.
I've put Lindelof at right back because I think he's less problematic there.
Yeah.
Delo at left back because I think he can play there. And also, I know you lose little bit going forward, but I'm not even bothered about that right now. I'll be honest, I'm not. In midfield, I wouldn't mind seeing Amrabat in midfield. I thought he did okay in the second half against Nottingham Forest. I know that's a different sort of, beast than the Etihad, but he is a midfielder. Yeah. So why not have 3 midfielders who can actually stick a foot in and get on the ball and actually are decent on the ball at times as well, in Amrabat, Mainu and Casemiro. I've put Bruno on the right side of a front 3. I know people won't like that, but I think he can also drop deep when he needs to. Garnacho on the left, and I've got Marcus down the middle. Marcus hasn't covered himself in glory as a centre-forward this season. I thought last season when we saw him there, he did okay. This season, not so much. I understand that, but needs must. And whilst your option of Scott McTominay does make sense because it's less sort of you keeping Garnacho and Rashford in positions they prefer, I just feel for me, I still quite fancy seeing giving Marcus another chance as centre forward, and also at least having one option off the bench for a goal. I think that with McTominay, if you say we're 1-0 down with 5 minutes to go and you think, can we get an equaliser? You've got that option off the bench with McTominay. I think we're so threadbare. Obviously, we're taking it that Rasmus Højlund's not going to be available. So that's the reason we've both done what we've done. But yeah, I've gone with that team. I think it's another one of them that, similar to what you've said about packing that midfield. We got overrun last season in midfield. Christian Eriksen just sort of letting Kevin De Bruyne walk past him, and it just didn't work, did it? We need to be sort of onto that and making sure that we've got enough bodies, not just the quality of player there, but we've got enough players there to help out. Because I don't want to see someone like Casemiro up against De Bruyne and Silva and Grealish or whatever on his own. Yeah. Because if I see that, I'm going to lose my marbles. Let's talk about Manchester City briefly, because I don't want to dwell on them too much. Haaland's having a bit of a stinker this season. He's only got the 27 goals and 6 assists in 30 competitions.
Not even a goal
30 games, sorry. 30
washed.
Games. Yeah, washed baller. Finished baller. Talking of finished baller, Kevin De Bruyne. 2 goals and 10 assists since coming back in January from his injury. I mean, I'm done with all these stats. It's just making me depressed. Listen, we know they're very good. We know they're doing well. We know that they're in a rich vein of form, and we know their best players are playing very, very well. We saw what Erling Haaland and De Bruyne, of course, did in the FA Cup against Luton. I know this is the league, but we know all this, don't we?
Do you know what worries me the most? The one who always plays well against United and is in sensational form at the minute as well is Phil Foden.
I knew you were going to say that.
He always scores against us. It looks like not just scores against us. It feels like every time we play, he could have got a hat trick, and he's basically doing the Gundogan thing where they're winning 1-0s and he's getting the ones.
He's very difficult to play against Phil Foden, isn't he? Because you saw with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, with Sterling, he had his number. Yeah. And I remember watching the game at Old Trafford a couple of years ago where Foden played in a similar role to where Sterling was, and he was just nothing like Sterling. He's just, I think Raheem Sterling is probably a little bit underrated, but Foden is just a better player in terms of his all-round football ability, technical ability as well. And he was just... Wan-Bissaka didn't know where to go, what to do.
He absolutely destroyed Lindelof as well in this fixture last season. Do you remember?
He's such a difficult player because he's not a winger, he's not a striker, he's not a midfielder. He's like all of the above. Yeah. And I hate to say it, but he is an exceptional player. So, yeah, United have got a lot to deal with.
They always do this thing, don't they, as well, where he'll barely play for like 2-3 months of the season. Sometimes it's at the end, sometimes it's the start, in the middle. But at the start of this season, he barely played. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he comes back into the team and does what he always does, where last season he did it at the very start of the season, this season he's doing it now. But he'll have you look at him and he'll play 28 games and he'll have 14 goals and 9 assists. You're like, how is this guy not starting every week? And then he won't play again for ages. Yeah. And in the minute, he's in that form where he's just getting a goal or assist or both pretty much every week. And then they've got De Bruyne doing the same, and Haaland obviously getting 5 goals midweek as well, or whenever it was, is not a great sign for United. But we saw last season against him, every game we played, except obviously the 6-3 wasn't, but the 2 following games were close. They were close games. We kept them close. We lost them both, but I do think that there's a chance here, and we have to just keep it tight for the first 45 minutes. Because the other thing to remember is they're not absolutely flying. I know they're doing very well and they're second in the league, but they're not 8 points clear. They'll be worried about Liverpool. There'll be a bit of nerves in it that there won't have been last season because, you know, at the time we played them away last season, it was earlier on. They were doing well. Haaland was scoring like 3 goals a week. At the minute, they kind of have something to prove, so maybe that can count against them eventually, but we'll just have to wait and see.
We will have to wait and see. With all that being said then, give me your score prediction.
I hate to say it, and I very rarely do it, but I think we're going to lose. If I'm honest, I think it'll be a 3-1 City. Sorry to do that.
3-1 is the most common scoreline in football, someone told me the other day. So that's not the worst shout I've heard. But you know what? I'm just going to be deluded and kid myself for a bit. I'm going to go 4-3 United.
Come on. How are we getting 4 goals, Jay? What are you on about? How the hell are we going to score 4 goals? Do you think this team is solid enough mentally that if we concede 3, we still win?
Yeah, 100%.
Amazing.
Right.
I love it.
We scored 3 there last season.
The only way
Anthony and Anthony Martial were banging in goals there last season, son. Yeah? So anything can happen. Don't you worry about that. Yeah? Get involved in the chat in the comments. Send us your score predictions. We want to hear from you guys. Don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel because we're going to be here for the watch along. So come and join us. Come and join us in our pain together. Joe, where can people find you?
Just shitting my pants on the watch along on Sunday here at Stretford Paddock.
Yeah, I'll be here too. That's been Joe Smith. I've been Jay Motty. This has been a preview for Manchester United versus Manchester City at the Etihad. Thanks for watching.